This is a special Hub on Hollywood production. Melinda Baum is a filmmaker, artist, and photographer, joining Jamie and me to talk about a passion project called Boys 2.
Thank you for having me. Hashtag Boys 2 is a documentary on the trafficking of boys. We often hear about the girls, but we don't hear much about how boys are trafficked. And current statistics are showing that approximately 48% of the youth trafficked today are boys.
How has this project come to be, and where are you in the process right now?
I met with, there are only 3 safe houses in the entirety of the U.S. One of them happens to be a 3.5-hour drive from me up in Denton, Texas. I met the founder through another business associate and became somewhat intrigued because I had never heard of, much like everyone else, hadn't heard about boys being trafficked, nor had I realized that it was quite as extensive as it is. Mm-hmm. So through some conversations, I decided that we should start shining a light on the whole of it, how it happens, where it happens, mm-hmm. and the lack of services throughout the U.S. and truthfully probably worldwide. Mm-hmm. Because it is such an extensive subject. Currently, I've done some filming. I've gotten some B-roll done and some interviews, but we're very much in the very beginnings of the project.
Yeah, I watched the 10-minute video on your channel, hashtag Boys2 on Melinda Baum, and the statistics that were shared on there are shocking, astonishing, and this is something that I think will definitely highlight the problem and bring more attention to it. When you were conducting the interviews, was it hard for you to also be learning this information in real time?
Yeah, it's difficult to listen, especially to the boys' stories, to hear what they've endured in such a short amount of lifetime, to see their positivity still. It kind of brings everything back home to you. I was a firefighter for almost 14 years in the Dallas area. So shocking is not something that I'm not used to, but even this kind of brought me to my knees. And then to think how many boys I actually missed while I was in the fire department that were being trafficked sends me reeling.
It's unbelievable. So what comes next? What do you need to sort of get it out there more?
Yeah.
To be able to complete it.
I won't use the boys themselves in the film due to security and safety for them. Some of them were trafficked by some very unpleasant gangs, such as Aryan Nation. So it's just not safe for them to be in the film. Mm-hmm. So I have to do dramatizations. So that's the next step I need to get done, which we all know requires a crew, cast, and so forth and so on. And so that'll be the most expensive part of the entire documentary. So that's my next goal, is to raise the funds to get that done.
And what's your ultimate goal at the end of this process?
Ultimately, I want to impact first responders, those who work with children, so that they can realize the signs, and even the girls, because even though there's more information, there's still not enough information given to those who need it, and training on what to do and what to look for. Often they get labeled as just the bad kids and get overlooked instead of trying to figure out why they're behaving the way they are. So that's the ultimate goal for me, is education, and to get the word spread and to get just more people with their eyes on the subject.
What was it like getting into this topic? I mean, I'm not sure about your previous work. Has your previous work been somewhat related to this topic, or is this kind of like, jumping in the deep end for this?
Most of my work has dealt with homelessness, so it's kind of different, but still very much the same, because most of the trafficked youth are on the streets. So it kind of went hand in hand to some extent. Even though a lot of them are on the streets, a lot of them are actually next door to you. they go to school, they go home, and they're still trafficked. So the statistics are hard to really pinpoint as to how many really are trafficked.
And tell us a little bit about how you became a filmmaker.
I've always been interested in photography since high school. About 12 years ago, I left the fire department due to health reasons and kind of floundered around and went back to photography, and then decided to take some film classes on the side for fun and kind of fell in love with it. So I've been there since. So I kind of fell into filmmaking, strangely enough. Much like firefighting. I went into firefighting to be a paramedic, fell in love with fighting fire.
Right. And it seems like that passion for helping and giving back to your community is now being translated into, a new medium.
Yeah. Same but different, just a different form.
And what advice would you give for those who find this or find a certain passion and they want to turn it into a filmmaking career or a project? What would your advice be for them to get started?
First is to research, make sure that you understand the subject and that you're willing to go into the subject. Having a surface level understanding of one is different than being able to get down to the nitty-gritty in a film. I've found things in trafficking that I probably didn't really want to know, but now I do. You can't unsee them or unlearn them. So just be both emotionally prepared for that as well as technically prepared, and make sure you take care of yourself. That's the hardest thing when you become passionate, you become so enthralled with it, you work tirelessly on it, and you forget to take care of yourself. So you can't help others if you're not helping yourself too.
Well, that's wonderful advice, Melinda. And before we let you go, where can people find you? Where can people learn more about this project?
For the project, www.boys2themovie.com, or they can find me on my page, melindabaum.com, MalindaBaum.com. So either of those, and they can feel free to reach out at any time. I'm more than happy to answer questions.
Well, Melinda, I think what you're doing is fantastic. There definitely needs to be more people like you raising awareness to this topic and doing what they can to try to help those who need it the most. Thank you so much for joining us on The Hub on Hollywood.
Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.